This is Robert Marglanche, the Mindshare Learning Report, Canada's Learning and Technology e-magazine, and welcome to This Week in Canadian EdTech, MindShareTV. I'm honored to have join me for a Mindshare Learning Moment, Marc Lijour, who is the Vice President of Information and Communications Technology Council and leads the Innovation and Readiness Initiatives. Thank you for joining me this afternoon, Marc.
Thanks for having me, Robert. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and this is on the eve of the cybersecurity attack on Durham District School Board. Today we're discussing the prevention and what are some of the latest trends. And incidentally, today marks International Computer Security Day. A little bit about Marc Lijour. He's a certified educator with experience on several continents. He's worked as an education officer at the Ontario Ministry of Education, advising on policies such as revision of the technology education curriculum and drafting the first RFP for the framework to procedure for software as a service. Marc was instrumental in administering key programs such as the launch of the Ontario Virtual Learning Strategy and Ontario's Equity and Inclusion Education Strategy. Wow, Marc, kudos to you for all that you've contributed to make an impact in Ontario education and beyond.
Thank you. I lost a lot of hair, but it was all worth it.
Absolutely. And wow, here we are, talking about International Computer Security Day, and it's never been more paramount to be aware and mitigate risks. And education is very vulnerable, it seems, given the wave of attacks. And it's not just Durham, it was Waterloo, it was a French board in Ottawa last year, and most recently in the US, notably LA Unified, one of the largest districts in America. Why are they being so targeted in education? And it literally took down the entire system. In Durham, they couldn't communicate with email or phones or online learning. It's really disruptive.
Yeah, what a way to celebrate Cybersecurity Day.
Yeah, it draws a lot of attention to it, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's always a silver lining to things, and I mean, the industry and decision makers are all very aware of the sensitivity and the pressure, since a lot of business have been moving to COVID. They've been moving online significantly. A lot of the business have been experiencing some attacks, and maybe they probably were not prepared for this, as not very matured online. Of course, every government is also looking very closely about the war in Ukraine, and the rise of state actors. 10 years ago was the script kiddie and the kid in high school that was using some open source software and making a lot of damage. And today it's really an army that's going after key infrastructure. And to answer your question, we are thinking protect the financial systems, protect the nuclear power plants, protect the electricity grid, these type of things. And education and healthcare, are critical services, but you might wonder whether they are properly, funded and prepared to respond to, serious attacks that are coordinated to the level that you know.
Right. And ICTC has taken a leadership role in this area, given the importance of your not-for-profit in nurturing ICT best practices across Canada and from an innovation perspective. Talk to me a little bit about the data and what it's telling us.
Yeah, and we are very cautious about the cybersecurity. Actually, the chair of our board is a cybersecurity expert that's frequently appearing and book author appearing on TV and advising on the matter. So we've been from the get-go very laser focused on that. We know from other studies as well, from ISC squared. That key data that half of the humanity has been hacked so far. The ransom attacks have doubled this year. So ransom attacks are typically what's happening right now at the school board, although they are obviously
Right.
for obvious reasons. They don't want to share too much, but this
Sure.
is what it looks like.
But
There is an
so it's become a business for these
it's
criminals.
I mean, we know it's becoming a business. It's I mean, they attack, they paralyze a school board, a hospital, a city, a municipalities, some public infrastructure, and basically they cut off the phones. They cut down everything. So
Hmm.
the doctors or the teachers, they can have access to the patient or student data, and you have to do everything on the paper suddenly, and
Wow.
you don't have access to all the things that have been happening. So it's a real hassle. On top of the information that you are losing, obviously there are some concerns about privacy, and in educations you have, of course, a lot of minor under 18, so a lot of
Right.
privacy of information issues. So
Extremely intrusive and potentially very dangerous too if that data gets released.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, from ICTC's point of view, I mean, we're looking at how industry is going to solve this. What are the solutions? So we know the issue is, and the solution is in the new, especially the talent. The talent is going to create new companies, new software, startups, or adding to the portfolio of the larger companies that we know that are doing the VPN, the firewalls, and all the portfolio, the toolkit of tools that we have. But you also need the talent inside the companies to operate those tools that are not, frankly, not easy to operate. Also, we should not underestimate a very important thing. I mean, we think that sometimes these attacks are very sophisticated, but turns out that 95% of the breaches, they're not due to a technical misconfiguration, but they're due to the human factor.
So talk to me about that in prevention from what should teachers and students, parents, administrators know that would help mitigate some of these attacks.
Yeah, so I mean, we're living on the digital world. So as much as we're doing like physical activities, from a young age, and the teachers, I mean, that helping the kids, figuring out how to exercise, how to eat properly, how to organize their work, and increasingly also how to interact socially online. And how do you present yourself on social media? How do you shield yourself for your mental health? Well, the
Right.
cybersecurity is also an important part of this, because you don't
Hmm.
want your information to be stolen. You don't want your data of family pictures to be stolen, or you don't want to be bullied. So there is, and there is preparation to the future. How do you manage beyond your information, your baggage, your bank account, your professional information? How do you deal with emails you're going to receive? The very common emails that you get from this prince in Nigeria that wants to legate his inheritance to you, or some kind of a really barely legit email from your bank asking you to reset your password, but basically is a fake email and asking you to enter all kind of information that then the hacker will use
So,
to.
so is it clicking on within the school district's email? If you click on something like that, that could take it down potentially.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, I would expect most school
Right.
boards at this point to have filters, right? That would basically try to get those emails and put them in a trash can so students won't
Right.
see it. But sometimes it will happen, and also on their personal emails, and they can start
Right.
adding information without knowing, right? Or it could be also somebody calling you and asking you to change some things, or presenting themselves as part of Bell Rogers, Shaw,
Right.
or Videotron, whatever you're with, asking you to, there's a problem with your account, and they're
Right.
targeting, of course, the old people. Same story that we've seen also this week about financial literacy with the Interact report on financial literacy. And they found out, and I'm pretty sure in cybersecurity is the same, they found out the most vulnerable people are women, children, young age, and also the older population. Obviously, they are saying they're less informed, they're paying less attention, they're less comfortable with technology, and they can be easily cheated, unfortunately.
Absolutely. And they've gotten very savvy at making it look very professional. I know I coincidentally had a CIBC email sent to me, and it was about resetting a password or something to that effect.
Mhm.
And I had to look it over 3 times. I had to check the email convention because that's usually a giveaway. and it almost duped me. I almost literally clicked on it. So, digital awareness, or what's the term I'm looking for? Media awareness,
Yeah,
or
definitely. There's media
right,
awareness. There's digital literacy. There is cybersecurity
literacy,
hygiene. You know, it's all the same
digital
hygiene.
literacy. Yeah, it's so vital to teach these skills in education.
Yeah, and bring
Uh,
it home. Bring it home. Teach it. I mean, the kids can teach it to their parents, to their grandma, to their the uncle, and it's definitely something that needs to be shared and reminded that yeah, there are bad actors out there. You cannot
yeah,
trust anything you see on the
and
internet.
talk to me about some of the programs you have. The Cyber Titan initiative. You've been really immersed in cybersecurity and taking a leadership role.
Yeah, we are taking action with our partners, and I mean, we know there is a talent shortage in Canada of about 25,000 cybersecurity professional, and there's strong pressure from the US to actually poach talent from Canada, and so we assembled a national advisory committee for cybersecurity training with some of the leading players in industry and the ecosystem, and they found out that salaries are high, the careers are very attractive, but people are self-selecting themselves out, and that is something that I'm hearing also from other countries. Like people are just giving
Interesting.
up and thinking that's not for me. So
Right.
our program, the Cyber Titan program, which we started 5 years ago, is even more relevant today as a program in high school where kids, and we're trying to actually be very mixing up like all kind of different profiles, gender diversity, all kind of background, to get to really include everyone, to get a test of what could be a role in cybersecurity, and what does cybersecurity specialists do. So as part of the competition with Cyber Titan, we also deliver a little bit of a course to let people know, okay, what are the careers, what is the jargon, what are the things that you should
Right.
definitely be aware of, also to protect yourself. And we're so happy because this year we are launching it also in French in Ontario with the support of the Ontario Francophone Ministry of Francophone Affairs. So we appreciate
Congratulations.
their support. And so so Cyber Titan is a great way to get started. We're looking for sponsors, and we have always like repeating sponsors like the Canadian Securities Establishment. We had the Canadian Minister of Defense.
Well, we're happy to join you as a sponsor of that initiative. I think it's really important. And I was going to comment, one of the areas of growth and focus should be school district, school guidance counselors, career counselors across the country. I wonder how many of them are aware of the demand and opportunity in cybersecurity careers. Because oftentimes it's still the traditional, you know, policeman, fireman, type of careers that people talk about, but it's really about, connecting with organizations like ICTC to know what the latest opportunities are in IT, if you will.
Well, we're a non-profit organization, and really we love to partner. And maybe
Yeah.
with Mindshare Learning and some of your key partners, we'll put something together to move the needle on
Yeah, I think that's an initiative that would be extremely valuable and powerful if we had like a national virtual roadshow, if you will, and put the spotlight on this area. Perhaps when we're hosting our EdTech summit next fall in Ottawa, we make that a stream. Actually, I
that.
think that would be super cool.
We should,
Uh,
and by then we'll have the winner. We'll know the winner
yeah,
of the Cyber Titan French and English competition. So may have the kids on stage and feature. I mean, they are amazing.
yeah.
Those,
Well, look at this. We're brainstorming as we're doing a
like,
podcast and coming up with some great ideas. So I hope, sorry we digress to our audience, but I think it's all part and parcel of problem solving this tremendous global challenge that's a crisis right now. If I could use the word crisis, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. And just very quickly mention the programs after
Hmm.
K-12, which we have a program with the employment ESDC, the Employment Ministry from the feds, where We can fund wage subsidies for registered students in college and university. So that would give them an experience. And then we have another course, especially for them to ramp them up in cybersecurity. We have also a pilot with Microsoft to help adult professionals, especially women, to get into entry level in the cybersecurity profession. So you see, there's a lot of industry support for these type of things. I want to mention, like, everybody's on deck.
Yeah. Well, it takes a digital village today, right, to help students thrive. And one of the thoughts I had was, are school districts able to tap into this? Because I've heard one school district say last year they lost 30% of their IT staff because of the competition in the private sector.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're able to tap into some of your initiatives around ICT readiness and skills development, that would help lessen the impact, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely. And also that's where ICTC can help, because we have also data on the roles. With working with the NOC codes and following that information also with government as the roles evolve. And we worked on that last year with ICED and ESDC on the 2018 Trudeau strategy and the redefinition of what is the cyber workforce, what kind of skills, what are they after, what kind of skills we need. Because if the technology evolves and the roles evolve, then you need to know that from an HR perspective, because if you don't put your roles, and your expectation and your salary classification to the right level, to your point, you're not going to be able to attract the workers from outside. You need to be a little bit in sync with the labor market. So
100%.
We've been involved in that kind of work as well.
Well, Marc Lijour, thank you for making yourself available on short notice. It's a pressing issue, and we wanted to illuminate and put the spotlight on this tremendous challenge around cybersecurity attacks that are happening in education. And thank you for enlightening us and providing some advice on how to mitigate those risks.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on this important day for cybersecurity. And it's always important. It's like physical activity and diet. It's not about having just one day. It's about reminding us that we have to do it every day during the year.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that connection. And that was Marc Lijour, Vice President, Capacity Building and Innovation at ICTC, on this International Computer Security Day following the attack on Durham District School Board. We will continue to follow this story and try to lend support in each way we can. My name is Robert Merlacci, the Mindshare Learning Report. Be sure to check out www.mindshare.learning to get your latest issue. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep this learning curve steep.